Hey, yo, what's up? You know what it is. You know what time it is. I'm coming at you live from DC, baby. It's Blazing Takes. I am Rick Blaze, and I'm with my guy, Siege. How we doing, my brother?
Oh man, we're doing good this Friday. I'll tell you what, finally got the week done with. It's time for the weekend. My guy Rick's in the DC area, so what,
Yes,
what
sir.
could there be anything better going on? I don't know. I don't think so. But
Just pour Mambo sauce on top of it, baby. Whatever it is, just pour Mambo sauce all on top of it.
yes sir. But let's go ahead. We got two more teams left in the Southern region before we move on to our next group of teams. So last two teams we got to talk about. Let's start off with Gulf Coast Lockdown. Gulf Coast had an interesting off season. They're really not returning much. Deontay Joyce. That's about it, I believe. But brought in new head coach Nick Heesh. There was a little bit of drama with him coming in, but not necessarily his fault. He came in strong. He had plans for the team. He was very forward about it. It did drive some players off, but the league did an investigation into him. It was a whole thing. They found nothing really wrong. He was just being a very strong-willed coach who came in and had a plan. So a lot of players kind of had something against that. The loss of Coach Hyman really affected them. But Coach Heesh has retooled. We got a lot of new guys coming in, a lot of guys to be excited about. Kai Killens was talk of the town for a little while. He ended up committing to a Gulf Coast lockdown. And Carson Cutbirth, who has looked really good in the offseason open runs, is like a facilitator and things like that. But what I will say about this team, they brought in a bunch of other guys, Pooley Horse, Ezekiel Bull. They have a lot of interior defense on this team. This team is going to be a hard team to score on in the paint. If you can't get perimeter shooters, you're going to have a tough time against this team because they're not going to let you get any easy baskets down low.
Yeah, I think Gulf Coast. This is gonna be one of those sneaky good teams this year. This is gonna be one of those teams that no one's really paying too much attention to on the schedule, and then before you know it, they whooped up on you. I like their. I think they're gonna embody more of the culture of their city. Really,
Yeah.
I think this is a grittier team. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have no pretty boys on this team. They just got guys who want to just ball. They got a bunch of guys who just love to ball, and it's a rare situation where there's not. Again, you look at they only return one person, so you look at the lineup. A lot they got a bunch of new faces, but I do like the point guard. I think they got arguably, in my opinion, the best point guard out of all the recruits.
Okay.
These incoming recruits. Yeah, I love him.
He
And
looks
that
good. He looks good.
his tempo is good. The way he runs, just the way he runs the team on the court is yeah, it's up there. So I like this team a lot. I'm not sure what kind of offense Coach Heath is going to run. Um, I don't know how he's going to play with it, but I like the offense a lot, and I like the opportunity to see what these young guys are going to do. Because a really young team, so
Yeah,
maybe
I was about to
maybe
say
500
that's
basketball.
that's the coolest thing about, he only returned one guy, but this is a really young team.
Yeah,
If things go well and this team meshes, like this team could be returning everybody other than Deontay Joyce next year, and that's like a scary thing because it's crazy to say in a prep league that it's a young team because obviously every team's a young team, but
right.
relative to the league, this is a young team that could play together for this season and next season, and that's a scary thing when it comes to chemistry and just fitting together and buying in. So I mean, Coach Heesh could have something he could build here.
Absolutely. And I think, it's going to be all on coaching. Now, this is when coaching really comes front and center because for all prep players, coaching is important. But with the young teams like these who's trying to figure some things out, uh, coaching becomes that much more of a dynamic piece. So I think this team is going to be as well as Coach Heach is with this team this season.
Absolutely, and we know that in a prep league, it is a lot about coaching. Like he has to make it work. He has to get his players to buy in. Also, but the thing about having such a new team with players that are new to the league is that guys are gonna have to step up. Nothing is promised to this team. Like yes, there are gonna be guys who start on opening day. There are gonna be guys who he originally thinks is gonna play this role and wants to play this role, but there's nothing guaranteed on this team. If you're a guy who maybe isn't starting to start off, I mean, anybody could step up from this team. Like we We don't know, and
Right,
that's
right.
kind of a cool thing for Coach E. She's going to have a lot to work with and figure out, but that also means there's a lot of options. So this team is, I don't want to call them a mystery because we know about a lot of these players. They look really good. Ezekiel Bull, Pooley Horse, Kai Killens, Carson Cupbeard, Lane O'Neal, Iko Kaz. The list goes on of new guys who are unproven in the league and
Right.
are going to have that hunger to step up. So this is going to be, I'm going to call them kind of a mystery team. We really don't know how they're going to perform.
We have no idea, so we're going to have to, see, and I'm anxious to see how this is going to go. Who we got next?
All right. Well, next we got a team that they got one of the big recruits this offseason, AT Aliens. Coach Marcus Wood brought in Royce Anderson. Royce Anderson was a pretty hot commodity. A lot of people are really high on him. He didn't quite get the minutes last year with Bay Area to show what he can do, but he's very versatile. A lot of people think he can be that bona fide number one. He's got a good frame, 6'6", 183. He can score at 3 levels. He can dominate the ball, things like that. But what I like about this team is we keep talking about this offseason. Is Royce Anderson going to be enough? I don't think we're giving credit to the other pieces that they brought in and the other pieces that they still have. We're forgetting they retained Richard Alpine. He's a good big. He's a good big who can shoot, 6'8", 240, but he's got a nice jumper. Good defender. They're returning Adam Mahmoud, who is one of the better shooters in SimWorld Prep last year, and I would expect for him to be again this year. Brought in Bevinson Patches, a great 3-and-D kind of glue guy. And then they brought in, nobody's really talking about him, but they brought in Willie Stiles, who was Georgia's Mr. Basketball. He's a 6'7" wing who can shoot the ball, and he can D up on the perimeter. He's very athletic. He's going to be that number 2 next to Royce. I even think, I've got high hopes. I even think it could be a 1A, 1B type situation. I'm really high on Willie Stiles because of the height and the length he brings and the ability to play on the perimeter. He's going to be a nice complement to a Royce Anderson. So I really, Royce Anderson is going to need to perform how we expect him to, but I don't think it's all on him. Like the narrative has kind of become. He does have help.
Yeah, I mean he has some guys, and you named all of them, so I'm not going to just read names because you've already locked those down. But don't get it twisted. The big ticket here in ATL is Royce Anderson.
Absolutely,
he's going to be the guy that's going to sell the tickets, and the team's success is going to rest squarely on his shoulders. Him and his coach, whether he can help lead this team to how many wins that he can have to get, because they sold out for AT, and I mean that in a good way. ATL sold out to go to Royce Anderson, and we're looking for big things from Royce. I think the teams as a whole is probably going to play maybe a little less than 500 ball, but again, they're going to be must-watch TV because, like you said, they have a bunch of young, exciting guys, and Royce Anderson. We look at him put a lot of points up for the whole season.
Yeah, absolutely, and they did. You're right. They went all out for Royce Anderson. They went and got their number 1, and they have shooters around him, and that's often like what you ask when you have a guy who's ball dominant, can score on his own, but is going to draw attention from a defense. They have guys around him who can shoot, and it's intriguing to me. They can even play almost a small ball type. Willie Stiles, like I said, 6'7". He can be put up at the 4. You can throw Richard Alpine at the 5. He probably will be thrown at the 5. This isn't a very big team. And both of those guys at the 4 and the 5 can shoot it. So when you talk about that, you give Royce Anderson the ball, let him do his thing, surround him with – if I'm coaching this team, my starting lineup looks like Bevinson Patches, Adam Mahmoud, Royce Anderson, Willie Stiles, Richard Alpine. All of those guys can shoot the ball. So I almost see this team playing small ball style, where they're gonna stretch the floor a lot. You're gonna see a lot of space for Royce Anderson to work because they're not gonna clog the paint with big men who can only play down low.
Agreed.
So I'm excited. And I'll be honest, I'm not completely sold on Royce Anderson being a number 1. That's no disrespect. I'm just the type I have to see it. I have to see it before I believe it. I see the potential there. Unfortunately, and that's not on him that he didn't get the chance to show it last year. But I got to see it. Once I see it from him, I'll be all on the Royce train. But I got to see it.
Come on aboard. You got to come on aboard, Steve. All aboard the train, man.
Yeah.
Come on aboard.
I got my ticket. I'm
I
waiting.
think
I'm waiting. I'm waiting
I
to
think
get
they're gonna
aboard.
play him. If I'm coach, if I'm playing the smart, I'm playing him at the 2, 3, the 4, and the 1. The only position I'm not going to play him at is at the center position, at the 5. All these other 4 positions, let's just get to it.
I mean, he can do it too. That's the thing. And like I said, it's not a huge team. If you throw Royce at the 4, it's an interesting thing. Coach Wood has a lot to work with, lineup wise. So I'm excited to see what this team does. But I do expect them to be playing kind of space the floor, maybe fast paced, and just kind of shoot other teams out of the gym. But that's what we got for today. That's the final of the Southern region. We'll go ahead and give you a little sneak peek next week, starting on Monday. We will be moving on to the next region. We'll be hitting the Neo region. I'm not going to tell you what teams we're going to start with, but we'll be giving our reports on the Neo region, so don't miss out on that. That'll be next week's show. And let us know what you think. Cuss and discuss down there. Rick, what do you got for the people?
Yeah, I want to make sure if you guys haven't already, make sure you check out the new commercial. You know, the new what do we call it? See, is it the new trailer?
It's the trailer. It's a trailer, but it's more than that. Go check it out. We got Rick on there on the track. He did what he usually does. I would tell you he killed it, but you already know that. So just go give it a shout. Let your friends, family know. Share the beautiful wealth with them.
Absolutely.
It's nice. It's nice. If you haven't seen it already, you're gonna love to see it this morning.
And there's more to it, man. We ready to kick off the season December 1st. So make sure everybody stay locked in, man. It's almost time.
Yes, sir.